Poems are an exploration of different landscapes of the spring, but also landscapes of the mind, landscapes of emotion. You'll find me playing with a lot of different types of metaphors, and I hope you enjoy this journey with me. This first poem is called 3 Waitresses at a Vermont Diner. Driving home from a trip to Vermont, winding down steep and twisting road of Hogback Mountain, past trailers and fallen trees, past a yard of mud and a cold child on a porch, looking out to a rainy spring. No buds yet, but lots of taverns and houses beaten by the brutal winds. Seeking solace in food, I found a diner and settled in at the counter. 3 waitresses dressed in black laughed and leaned to deliver steaming plates of fries and mugs of coffee to tables of silent customers. The middle-aged waitress who took my order had skin as thin as April ice, tattoos from neck to back, from shoulders to fingertips. The oldest one, near the coffee makers, wore a jersey, a silhouette of sagging breast and tired belly, apron tied tight. She called to the youngest, who would work that shift, each offering a sacrifice to each other, thinking of the time not home. Meanwhile, a teenage dishwasher gathered the dirty plates, pale and expressionless, resigned to her fate. Among this dreary backdrop, the waitresses danced with plates, smoky voices rich with jokes, set the air ablaze with their jovial and caring presence. The 3 of them, a kind of trinity, anchoring as the town's shelter. 1 string to heaven. 1 string to heaven, a tiger-faced kite with a green and blue tail dances in a fierce wind. Prakash turns his frozen face upward, holding tight the handle. Silver clouds gather above him, rustling his gray and black hair, pounding down the tiger. But he deftly leaps up again, never coming close to falling. Dark day, sunlight poking out of black clouds, Prakash in jeans and t-shirt, speck of blue on a gray horizon, running steadily, even paced on the dark green field beneath the tiger kite high above. Just hours ago, in our meditation center, he gently held the thread of breath, untangling thought from presence, following the soaring silence into a new stratosphere. Going from the meditation presence to something a little bit earthy. I wrote this at 2 o'clock in the morning, right in the middle of spring. Spring Symphony. Outside my window, I hear the breeding symphony of shadow lovers under night's covers. The crunch of scurrying animals deep in the leaves. Deer boldly break through the brush, snapping winter's brittle branches while calling and running towards their invisible mate. Barred owls coo and hoot, flapping huge wings, leaping from nearby pines. Duets rise up from the river below me. Tree frogs peep and shrill. Bullfrogs belch a bass line. I am wide awake at 2 a.m., listening, half dreaming of my own phantom lover. My heavy breath and body toss and turn, vainly seeking the inclusive conclusion, in sync with spring's frantic confusion. Only the screen separates me from this symphony of union. I really have never gone fishing before, but I had an opportunity to accompany someone who loves to fish. So I wrote a couple of poems about that experience. Fishing. He casts his line smooth and fast, and the bait dives gracefully into the silver water with barely a ripple. The faint bloop echoes beneath today's canopy of clouds. Layers of lavender, blues, and every shade of gray hover over this mysterious universe of lake. We can't see the salmon or the colorful trout. Hope and persistence drives the man with the rod. Other people wait and watch. Poles in hand are stuck in the sand. Children stare vacantly at the pewter waters, all drawn into this mesmerizing corner of the world. Cedars, pines, beech, and barren bushes poised for spring. Nature hums her ancient tune while slippery beauties chase their meals or find their fate on a proud man's plate. All sit or stand, anxious to seize that quivering, shiny, twisting bit of life hooked to a hairline, fooled by the lure. I like puns, probably you could tell. And then there's this one, bait. Two men drive up to the lonely wooded path in their oversized truck, slamming doors shut, and off they go with rod and tackle to trick the fish of the lake, for the challenge to hold in their big hands the slippery, wet bodies shining with such complex patterns and colors, so dazzling no human could hope to match in wardrobe, art, or tattoo. How men long to hold and look upon in primal wonder the gasping trout or salmon writhing helplessly on a hook or in their arms. And as I find myself judging them, my heart leaps as I sneak closer for a better view. Bonding at the shore, the men rant about women who've come and gone like bait for fools. And me, guilty of my own history of complaints against men, observe this stream of consciousness while they carefully extract the curved hook and declare their compassion for fish, vowing to release the prize after a picture has been captured. I just thought it was so ironic. Anyway, now we're going to explore. Two things came into my mind, the horrible shootings that are always going on and this mentality of fear. And then I connected to it in a personal way, and I thought, what if I explored my deepest fears? What would that look like in this context? So it's just another way of looking at your emotions so you can understand yourself a little bit better. So I came up with this one. So many ways to hide. During the safety committee meeting, here's the agenda. Attract and fix the fallen first. Alert, lockdown, call in reinforcements, herd everyone and all attachments into one small place. Uniformed people patrol with weapons to shut out all intruders. Memories blur to tears of childhood. Whose hand can I hold? Where is my buddy? Can we duck and cover together? Don't touch me, I'll explode. Really, I am only in my living room with my friend. I feel all the nuances of the unsaid, the pain of things unshared, the loneliness of denial. I want to blow the roof off of our defenses. The little girl is cowering in a corner. The big girl wants a persona, brassy, sexy, sassy, someone needing no one. And he appears as the male version. We even walk the same, that extra edgy spring in our nonchalant step. We are fellow warriors, shields of steel and stone, swords of silence, slicing moments of sudden vulnerability. I hold up my mask as I curiously peer into his eyes, scrutinizing the outwardly wounded while perceiving the hidden wise man behind them. Human beings are quite complex, are we not? Like a star, Evolution is code for expansion, he said, and I struggled to stay anchored in my chair at the cafe. Teams steamed before me. Thoughts danced like vapor, unfurling upwards as he spoke of pulsars and the ever-expanding universe. Stars that burst and collapse or become dense, what drives them to decide in which direction? And yet, so joyful am I in this tiny frame on our tiny planet. One thought, and I too could shoot and explode into a star. This one is called Whoosh. Whoosh. Jacob once said, "It amazes me how you whoosh through relationships and things." Years later, I am at a breakneck speed, having found a vehicle, a tool, deciding to stay in the presence. Ego talk comes to tempt me. Doubts come to taunt me. Past traumas come to bully me. Issues, recent and past lifelines come to fill the present. Not having anything now to stick to. All or nothing. Whoosh. Like sweeping the stairs, the debris falls into the bin. I clearly observe it without reacting. There is a feeling of clean joy, or even then, ego enters to claim pride. Whoosh. The next one, the last one, is a poem about when I had a car accident and I had a whiplash injury back in 2000, I think it was. And it was suggested to me to go to a Feldenkrais practitioner. Now, you can always look up Moshe Feldenkrais. He was an amazing person who was able to, he developed a way of, kind of a therapy that helped people who couldn't even walk, move. He was miraculous. His compassion was amazing. His story is amazing. So look him up, Moshe Feldenkrais. Now, so back in Maine, when I had this whiplash injury, I went to Marilyn Hardy in Brunswick, and it was such an amazing experience. I've never felt anything like this before, so I wrote a poem about it, and this is called First Feldenkrais. Climbed up the stairs for my first Feldenkrais integration session almost 2 decades ago. I was in my 50s, tense and bent at the waist, 90 degrees, suffering from whiplash. The expert practitioner lived in an old New England house. The door opened at the top of the stairs, and a thin woman welcomed me. It was a cozy, earthy apartment. Bright February sunshine beamed through wavy glass. Lace curtains peeked cheerfully through the arcs of hanging ferns, and golden light rimmed my gracious hostess's frizzy hair like a halo. I entered the office or abode by grabbing the rails, tops of chairs, tabletops, and shelves for balance. Grunting with pain, she observed me, noticing every labored movement. After her invitation and guidance, I slowly lowered my back onto the burgundy therapy table. Ms. Hardy's warm hand started my journey of awareness behind my head and neck. She paused like a conductor before the first notes of a symphony. The music of observation began, like whispers of a violin concerto solo. She gently rocked the bones of the skull, the neck, the top of my spine, and from time to time she nodded and said, Inwardly, I heard the clashing commotion of my own thoughts, judgments, fears, complaints, nervous impulses, and the sadness of hidden memories, all now slowly unfurling and melting into her hands as she rocked my spine in tiny incremental movements. She was communicating to my command control center, bypassing the egotistical one that ordered, demands. I finally surrendered to listening, sensing, and learning. the miracle of my own being fine-tuned into harmonious thought and harmonious movements, tiny movements, profound thoughts. You can move this way. You can move up or down or diagonal. Feel the range. Allow the range. Learn the range. Now, effortless movement. Where did the pain and tension go? Can I accept this total freedom? The time came for me to slowly rise. Her hand guided the movement of my head and neck. There was a path I could take. I could move in a new way, almost like dancing. Now she smiled like a humble conductor at the end of the music as I stood up. My face lit up with surprise, as if I had landed into a new person's body. She invited me to take my time, to walk around, to scan my body with observation, allowing movements to emanate from a new place. Ah, this is the freedom I will always want. This is what was always mine. I looked out the windows to the bright winter day. I floated in a stroll around the room. I had gained something huge. I had lost something familiar. The absence of ego's demands on my body, emptied by my own habits just for that day. I glimpsed at my own possible freedom, never to forget that it could exist and I could be the conductor of my own symphony and my own dance. So I got to try it sometime. Feldenkrais. Thank you so much to ActonTV for doing a great job and having this beautiful set. And we'll see you soon.